How would you feel if you could spend more money today? Maybe it's going out to eat, maybe it's traveling, going to concerts, whatever it is you like to do, and you didn't have to worry at all. Well, you might be able to do that, and you might just not know it. Oftentimes, I tell people you need to spend more, and they go, whoa, you're a financial planner. Aren't you supposed to tell me to save and invest? I go, yes, but don't oversave and sacrifice what's most important today. So today's video is about understanding, can you spend more? As a reminder, I'm Ari Taublieb, a financial planner, and I am here to help you become financially independent. So often, people say, I need to save more, I need to invest more, and they feel bad about traveling or doing some of the things that they want to do today because they think to themselves, should this money be invested for the future? And oftentimes, the answer is no. You should be spending more today. Other times, it's yes. It's not that you shouldn't be spending what you are, but if you do spending, there's a trade-off. There's always a trade-off. Financial planning is not black and white. It's not yes or no. Financial planning comes down to your goals and what you care about. So let's just use your money to reflect your values. So for example, if you were to come to me and say, Ari, I just want to be financially free as early as possible, I would say, I want you to still spend and feel comfortable doing what you care about today because you're certainly on track. But if you said, you know what, Ari, I don't care about any of that. I don't want to travel. I don't want to go to concerts. I just want to be financially free because I don't like my job, or I want to be done by this age. Great. Any dollar that you invest, it's going to bring you closer to that goal. But you might not be that person. You might be the person that says, I don't hate what I do. I want to be financially free. I enjoy my work, but I don't know if I should be saving more. Should I be investing more? Should I be saving less, investing less? What's really the strategy? Well, if you're investing to your 401k and you're investing to your Roth IRA or your IRA, or maybe it's a SEP IRA if you're self-employed, if you're doing those things and you're maxing it out, and you don't have to have a complete picture of what your expenses are going to be in the future because life changes and tax law changes and legislation changes. But my point here is if you are doing the right things and you're maxing out accounts, and you don't even have to be maxing them out, but if you say, you know what, I'm doing $10,000 per year to this account, well, you might be doing $10,000 to a 401k and $6,000 to a Roth IRA. Well, that might be enough, meaning if you invest more, it's only going to make the picture better, but the goal is not to say, can I maximize the amount of wealth I have? It's to maximize your return on your life. And if that means really sacrificing potential growth, let's do that. Because what if you could spend more today, travel more? What if you could spend more on just going out to eat with your partner? What do you care about most? Maybe you're single and you say, you know what? What's most important to me is job flexibility. What if you could switch careers and maybe it's a job that pays less, but you'd enjoy it more? What's the joy that comes with that? You can't quantify that. And so financial planning, it's not just about the numbers. We use the numbers to align our values with what we care about most. So numbers are important, but only after we know what we want to do. So if you were to come to me and say, Ari, I just feel like I really don't love my job. I want to be able to switch, but at the same time, I just don't know if I can. Am I saving enough? Am I investing enough? Well, look at this example. What if you invested $6,000 to a Roth IRA every year? No 401k, nothing outside of that. If you did that for 30 years, you would have put in $180,000. Well, that's great. But if you invested that and got 10% per year, you would have $980,000. So just about $800,000 of growth on your money. So now you have just about $1 million. At age 60, you can touch that, technically age 59 and a half. If you take out the money before then, you can always take out your own contributions, but you can't take out the growth before 59 and a half without being penalized or tax penalized. So a little bit difference there, meaning there's a 10% penalty if you take before that, and then you are taxed on any of the growth. So we want to avoid that. But let's look at that example. You have $1 million saved for retirement. Let's say you live off of $100,000 per year. Well, if your investments are growing and growing and growing for you, if that's growing by 10% per year, well, you could take $100,000 theoretically out and still have $1 million because you have $1 million, 10% you take out to live on, so $100,000, and then it grows by another $100,000. Now, it's not that exact of a science, but the point here is to understand if you're doing that and your partner's doing that, well, that's $2 million you're going to have in retirement. And in reality, That's a good first step. But what if you want more? What if you want to be retired before 59 and a half? You might not even like the word retirement. I don't. I like financial freedom. When are you in a position where work is now optional? Well, with a Roth IRA, it's great. It has tax benefits that are just incredible. It's tax-free forever. But what if you want a brokerage account, meaning that account that's really used for the gap years? Let's say at age 50, you say, you know what? Don't want to work anymore. I enjoy work, but maybe I want to volunteer or do optional work or whatever you want to do. From age 50 to 59 and a half, there's a gap there. We need to make up that gap. How do we do that? We have an account called a brokerage account or a taxable account or a standard account. And they have all these different account names because they want to make it as confusing as possible to know what's going on. Now, I want to simplify that. That's why I made my podcast, Personal Finance Redefined, to redefine the way we view money. But if we're taking that example once more, you've got $2 million, your partner's doing it, you're doing it, that's great. Maybe you're single, you've got $1 million. You know it's going to be there if you get that 10% rate. Now, I know that's making assumptions, but it's a starting place. The next thing is if you want to be financially free earlier, a brokerage account doesn't have the amazing tax benefits a Roth IRA has. I mean, if you put $100 in and it grows to $1 million, it's not the full $1 million that you can take out like the Roth IRA. You might be able to take out a certain amount of dollars and call it, now it's worth $700,000, $800,000. Depends on what your taxable income is that year. But in essence, you're taxed on the money. You put $100 in, it grows to $100,000. You're taxed on the $100,000 when it comes out. So the important thing to note is that's not bad. What we're doing is we're being intentional, saying we're doing the right stuff over here. We're saving and investing if we want to be financially free over here. But what if you don't? What if you just love working and say, I don't have a plan to stop? I would say that brokerage account, it might not even be necessary. Go travel more. In fact, I'm telling clients who are saving and investing really well, they've got a 401k and a Roth IRA. I said, hey, you're doing a great job. Don't oversave for retirement. I might tell them, if you keep doing what you're doing, you might have $12, $13, $14 million. And I know that might sound crazy to you, but if you're listening to this video or you're watching this video or whatever you're doing, the reality is that's something that could happen. And I almost paused there because it's something we don't even think about could happen, but it's true. And so what's important to know is that you don't want to oversave for retirement and sacrifice important things today. You might say, hey, I'm not traveling this year, I'm not going to Europe, or I'm not going to take that big trip with my family because I don't know if I'm going to have enough in the future. That's the importance of having a strategy. That's why people work with a planner. So you feel very intentional and confident about what you're doing. Now, it only makes sense to do that once you understand what your goals are. Have a real good think. I know that sounds weird, but have a good think about what you care about most, and let's use your money to align that with your values. So only the numbers and the calculations and the tax savings and the investment returns, those only matter, but they matter after you've determined why you're investing. So that's it for today's video. If that was helpful, please do subscribe and like it. That allows more people to think more about financial philosophy. That's what that's really my values. Is it's not just about the money. The money is just a tool to allow us to live the life we best want to live. So often we just think about the money and the numbers and the analysis, and that's important. It surely is. But only after we understand why we're doing it. So that's what the video is about today. If that was helpful and you want to understand more about what it's like to work with me, you can see in the description there is a link to book a call with me. Please always feel free to do and see how I can best help your best situation. So it's about finding who's the best fit for you. Maybe it's me, maybe it's another planner, maybe it's no planner at all. You might love doing this. Great. Get a second opinion. Understand, make sure you're doing everything you can, maximizing tax savings, maximizing investment returns. That's what this is about. It's not why people come to me. They don't come to me and say, Ari, I need to save myself from this situation. No, it's I'm already doing a good job, but is there something else I don't even know about? And you just can't know sometimes. There's so much information out there. And so that's what the goal of today's episode is about. Once again, if that was helpful, please do subscribe, like the video, and thank you so much.